Hello there and welcome to Lunchtime News here on TV1. You're joining me, Devi Paldano. Now, before we head into your stories in more detail, let's first take a look at your headlines this afternoon.
Distribution of nitrogen-based organic fertilizer to commence after the 15th of September. Government drawing up plans to declare the vaccination card a mandatory document. Teachers' trade unions elaborate facts to the international community on arrests of teachers. Opposition leader denied permission to meet with the detained teachers. WHO calls for a suspension on booster vaccines for COVID-19 until at least the end of September.
Health authorities are insisting that the people must be fully aware of the spread of the Delta COVID-19 variant in the country. Deputy Director General of Health Services Dr. Hemantha Herath said that the situation should be considered serious as people infected by the virus are being treated at several hospitals.
A spokesperson from the Karapitiya hospital said 220 COVID-19 patients are receiving treatment at the facility, although only 129 beds have been allocated for this purpose. In the Ratnapura hospital as well, the number of patients have exceeded the number of beds. A spokesperson for the hospital said that 100 patients are receiving treatment, although only 70 beds have been allocated for COVID-19 patients. The Kandy General Hospital has allocated 54 beds for COVID-19 patients. However, it is currently treating 156 COVID-19 cases. A spokesperson for the hospital noted that additional wards are being used to treat infected patients. The Teldenia hospital is also reaching its capacity in relation to the treatment of COVID-19 patients. An individual attached to the hospital said that COVID-19 cases are being treated in all 160 beds allocated for this purpose. The hospital's 5 intensive care unit beds are also occupied at present. 160 beds have been allocated at the Colombo South Teaching Hospital in Kalubowila to treat COVID-19 patients. But a spokesperson for the hospital said that nearly 250 infected people are receiving treatment. The number of patients at the Infectious Diseases Hospital, known as IDH, has also exceeded its capacity. An individual attached to the hospital said 200 beds at the hospital are occupied at present.
Corona roginge admissions.
There is a spike in the admission of COVID-19 patients. When the number of admissions increase suddenly, the number of beds allocated previously becomes insufficient. It is important to treat COVID-19 patients without slowing down the treatment of other patients. It is easier to deal with this by announcing an emergency situation. We have an emergency plan. We can implement this plan to fulfill these requirements swiftly through that.
Meanwhile, the government has directed its attention towards declaring the vaccination card as a mandatory document. Army Commander General Shavendra Silva said all authorities concerned have already held discussions with regard to this matter.
If the people are not obtaining vaccines, we are considering making the vaccination card a mandatory document to be carried by a person. Based on the advice of the President, Divisional Secretaries and Gramanuladari officers have been instructed to inquire into those who have not obtained the jabs and to provide it to them at the earliest. The process of administering the Sinopharm vaccine to those above the age of 60 commenced today at 6 hospitals and vaccination centres today. Army Commander General Shavendra Silva urged those above the age of 60 who have not received the first dose of the vaccine to direct themselves to a vaccination centre immediately. Accordingly, vaccination drives will be carried out at the Colombo National Hospital, Colombo South Teaching Hospital, IDH, Avisavella District General Hospital and the Viharama Devi Park. The Ministry of Health informs the general public to get the second jab of the AstraZeneca vaccine through the vaccination centre. The Ministry of Health reiterates that vaccination can lead to the reduction of deaths due to COVID-19.
Meanwhile, Sri Lanka's COVID-19 death toll has risen to 4,727 after 82 deaths were confirmed yesterday. The deaths reported yesterday were 41 males and females each. This is the highest number of deaths confirmed in Sri Lanka within a single day.
In one of the headline-making stories, police prevented opposition leader Sajith Premadasa from visiting protesters at the Colombo Harbour police station were arrested yesterday. The suspects include members of trade unions representing teachers and principals. My rights has been violated completely. Port officials say that the permission of the police is required. Police say that the permission of port officials is required. However, as the opposition leader, if I cannot visit 44 teachers who have been arrested, this raises questions on what type of democracy is in the country. I will have to raise the matter pertaining to the violation of my rights in parliament. The rights of Nalin Bandara as a parliamentarian have also been violated. There is a massive problem over violating the concept of natural justice.
Natural justice කියන ස්වභාවික යුක්තියේ මූලධර්ම පිළිබඳව ඒව කඩකිරීම පිළිබඳව බරපතල ප්‍රශ්නයක් තිබෙනවා.
Teachers and principals staged protests in several areas opposing the arrests of teachers.
Teachers and principals staged a protest in Dalandagama in Kurunegala opposing the arrests of teachers recently. Teachers and principals in Katun area also staged a protest by raising black flags. A silent protest was staged in Madampe today.
The Ceylon Teachers Union convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
When we converged opposite the presidential secretariat yesterday from all our four sides, they allowed us to engage in a protest, but our representatives were arrested when returning home from protests. This goes against international norms. Those who were arrested by officers of Maligawatta, Dematagoda, Paliagoda and Vallavatta police stations were brought to the harbour police. No one can enter the harbour. No one is allowed to enter the harbour from the main entrance. They are being detained at the harbour police. No one is allowed to visit them. What sort of a law is this? Who ordered for them to be transported to the harbour police? We want the government to understand we will not falter. Their moves will not bear fruit. We will carry on with this momentum, whatever obstacles come our way. We will report facts of all illegal detentions of our teachers to both local and international agencies. A mother of a newborn is also among those who have been arrested. Principals and 16 teachers have also been arrested. This is a serious matter. We will take stern action against this.
The protest march, launched by the Association of Education Professionals in Kandy, demanding a solution to the salary anomalies of teachers and principals, entered its second day today.
The second day of the protest march began from Mavanella.
Instead of resolving the deprivations of the people, the government is suppressing dissent. Principals and teachers are ready to take on the government's suppression.
A discourse arose in Parliament on the Sir John Kotalawala National Defence University Bill today.
කොතලාවල විශ්වවිද්‍යාලය හා සම්බන්ධ පනත දැන් විශේෂයෙන් විශ්වවිද්‍යාල ශිෂ්‍යයින් සමාජයේ
The Kotalawala University Bill is being opposed by university students, professionals, lecturers and professors. This has created controversy in the country. We have no problem with having a defence university to produce professionals required by security forces. Will an intellectual like you permit the militarization of the education system in which the Kotalawala University won't fall under the University Grants Commission? Without delaying this matter further, do you hope to take the relevant measures to completely resolve this unnecessary issue? Minister Chamal Rajapaksa informed this House clearly on this matter. Various groups have levelled criticism against this. Yesterday, Minister Chamal clearly said that this would be taken into consideration extensively and that a decision will be made on that after Friday. But Minister Chamal Rajapaksa clearly responded to parliamentarian Ranil Wickramasinghe, stating that it will not be taken up in the committee stages tomorrow. We need some time to consider all opinions and amendments. Many proposed amendments have already been submitted. We will take the relevant steps after that.
Now taking a look at another one of your headline-making stories. Director General of Agriculture, Ajanta De Silva, says the distribution of nitrogen-based organic fertilizer will be commenced from the 15th of September. The distribution will be conducted by agrarian services centres located island-wide. Ajanta De Silva added a training program to create awareness on the use of organic fertilizer has also been launched.
The Director General of Agriculture made these remarks while attending a media briefing held at the Presidential Media Centre. Attending the media briefing, Secretary to the Ministry of Finance S.R. Artigala said 56 billion rupees worth of funds allocated through the budget to import chemical fertilizer will be diverted to purchase organic fertilizer. He added if an additional sum is required for this purpose, it would be fulfilled through a supplementary estimate. It is also revealed that the National Agriculture Policy would be released next month. The use of organic fertilizer is one policy included in the larger National Agriculture Policy.
Supplementary health staff and nursing staff have entered into a trade union action citing several demands.
The trade union action has been launched to ensure authorities do not disregard the requirements of health workers. Their 6 demands include continuing the special COVID-19 leave granted for health staff, provision of COVID-19 related bonuses, implementing the cabinet decision on converting the medical service into an inclusive one, removal of maximum overtime limits. Patients who arrived at the National Hospital in Colombo to seek medical attention were burdened as a result of the trade union action. Our cameras also captured the situation at the Eye Hospital in Colombo this morning. Daily operations at multiple hospitals across the country were also hampered due to the trade union action. According to our correspondent, junior staff members of the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital had stepped away from their duties today. Many operations, including the laboratory functions at the Kurunagala Teaching Hospital, were also halted today.
කෑමක් නෑ බීමක් නෑ ඊයේ හවස 7ට විතර කාපු ගමන් මේ ඉන්නේ දැන් කියන්නේ ස්ට්‍රයික් කියලා අපි දන්නෙත් නෑ රැට කන්නේ නැතු ලේ ගන්නාවේ ලේ වර්ග 4-5ක් දෙන්න තියෙනවා ඉතින් දැන් පැය ගාණක් හිටියා දැන් කියනවා ගන්නයි කියලා.
Junior staff attached to the Tangol Base Hospital had also supported the trade union action.
We have
received a written undertaking that P.B. Jayasundara's circular will not apply to the health sector. Therefore, we have achieved victory in the health sector. From this point onwards, we will suspend the trade union action that began at 7 a.m. We wish to apologize to the people if they faced any inconvenience during the last few hours. We also request them to bear some patience for the future of the health sector. Services relating to the treatment of COVID-19 and emergency units were in operation. Only a small group of healthcare personnel staged this trade union. Therefore, only some services may have been stalled for a few hours.
The second phase of Sri Lanka Vanita Abhimana, a platform to pay tribute to female trailblazers in the country, was launched today. Women who have displayed exceptional skills in the corporate sector will be honoured in this phase.
Sri Lanka Vanita Abhimana 2020. Vanita Balaganwuma.
Women above the age of 30 years can apply for Sri Lanka Vanita Abhimana 2021, jointly organised by NDB and Newsfirst. Women possessing professional qualifications can apply for a range of categories, including human resources, financial management, sales and promotion, tourism, arts, sports, entrepreneurship and state sector. Sanjay Pereira, NDB's Senior Vice President, and Yasarat Kamalsiri, Director and General Manager of Newsfirst, were signatories of the event.
අපි රට ව්‍යසනයකට මුහුණ දී සිටින අවස්ථාවක කෙනෙකුට හිතෙන්නට පුළුවන් ඇයි අපි
One could wonder as to why we organize such an event at a time the country is facing a calamity. In order to progress as a nation, we cannot remain idle even at this moment. Vanita Abhimana 2021 has been launched to celebrate women in the corporate sector. We need to overcome all obstacles and move forward.
මොකද මේ වෙලාවේ අපි නැවතිලා ඉන්නට බෑ. අපි සිදු කළ යුත්තේ තීන බාධක ජය අරගෙන කොහොම හරි ඉස්සරහට යන එක.
And with that, we wrap up lunchtime news here on TV1. For more news, log on to our award-winning website, that is www.newsfirst.lk. For the Newsfirst team, I'm David Paldana. Take care.